Friends, things are just getting worse out there all over the place. We need to talk about a bunch of things that are going on right now. We're going to be talking about things like the U.S. economy. We're going to be talking about the attack on Iran that's about to begin imminently, it appears. We're seeing high-level communications between the United States and Israel about this topic. We have major threats happening against Taiwan by China. We have U.S. delinquency rates on mortgages are through the roof, higher than the 2008 crisis. We need to talk about censorship. We need to talk about what's going on with Doge, some of the things that they've uncovered with the U.S. Social Security numbers. Massive fraud uncovered there that is potentially in the billions and billions of dollars per year. We have a report from one of you guys about what's happening at warehouses across the U.S. And we got major repositioning of U.S. forces. All this, we're going to get to this very shortly. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are the things the mainstream media sweeps under the rug, but we're going to cover here anyway. All right, we have Israeli Channel 14 TV saying this: a large-scale attack on Iran will begin soon, an unprecedented assault since World War II. Now, this is after President Trump has directly threatened a large-scale assault, air bombing campaign against Iran if they did not sign some sort of nuclear treaty. We have Twitter reports out there tracking flights, and we're seeing dozens and dozens of cargo flights from the U.S. and Europe going down to the Middle East, resupplying and building up forces down in the Middle East. We're seeing particularly a buildup in the United Arab Emirates, U.S. military bases in the along the Persian Gulf. We have massive forces staging in Diego Garcia down in the Indian Ocean. This looks like it's moving forward. At least that's what we're seeing with the pieces moving on the table. And then we have the Israelis out there saying on TV that this attack is about to begin. Further, CENTCOM commander, General Kurilla, arrived in Israel today and is holding meetings with top security officials. This is per Con News. That's a big deal. General Kurilla is called elsewhere as the keeper of the Iran file. Basically, the attack plans on Iran have to be continuously updated. So the President of the United States says, hey, we want to attack Iran. Those attack plans have to be continuously updated. And General Kurilla is the ultimate authority for Central Command, which is the Middle East, and Iran is one of the top threats in that region. He's the guy who is the expert on what we would do, how would we would do it, and if we're given orders, he would be the guy that would do it to Iran. And he is arriving in Israel. And Israel at the same time is saying, hey, by the way, the attack is going to happen soon. The USS Carl Vinson and several other ships with the Carrier Strike Group 1 was spotted earlier today on satellite imagery transiting west through the Sulu Sea in the Philippines. It is now en route to the Middle East, has guided missile cruisers as well as the carrier itself. Of course, we don't know what kind of submarine escorts that they have, but that is one major milestone that we need to be watching, is that as Carrier Strike Group 1 moves west, we'll definitely see it when it passes through the Strait of Malacca. There's no avoiding that. As it comes through past Singapore in the Strait of Malacca, it will be spotted. That group will be spotted there. That will be the last time that we will see it through a choke point, because it'll be just being able to run free across the Indian Ocean. Only satellite imagery may spot it, but that's a little hit or miss because it's, that it moves pretty quick, right? And it'll probably head down to Diego Garcia, down to that area before it moves up towards the Iranian coast, and depending on how close they want to get it to Iran. Now, some people have been out there speculating that that the B-2 bombers that are being staged in Diego Garcia are not for Iran, but rather so that we can really effectively hit Yemen harder. Now, I don't know that that's really the case. They were kind of laying out that the United States is worried about any kind of U.S. aircraft to be downed over Yemen, and concerns that Yemen may have gotten upgrades to its air defense systems from Russia and Iran, and so that only stealth bombers and stealth fighters can operate in Yemen airspace. I don't know that that is necessarily true, but we have seen the United States Navy has started using Tomahawk missiles on Yemen. Now, Tomahawk missiles are expensive, and so the fact that we're using Tomahawk missiles instead of dropping bombs or launching even air-mounted missiles really does kind of indicate that maybe we are concerned about our aircraft. So, Iran can theoretically hit Diego Garcia with some of their long-range ballistic missiles. Now, just because they can hit the island theoretically range-wise doesn't mean that they can hit the island in reality. Right now, we have air defense systems. Ballistic missiles would have to go through a very predictable trajectory to get to Diego Garcia, and we could definitely have guided missile destroyers in the way of that with optimal location in order to shoot down those missiles. So I don't know what will happen next, but we are seeing a lot of indications that that seems to be the direction we're headed. Now, at the same time, we're also seeing China is ramping up its pressure against Taiwan. Massive air and naval drills happening all around Taiwan. Largest ones we've seen in years. Also, China has deployed its Shandong aircraft carrier group near the island, which is launching aircraft and recovering aircraft, which makes it a major threat in the ocean outside the Taiwanese area. This is, they are very concerned, and they're very clear that any kind of movement towards independence by Taiwan will be war. And the amount of aircraft up and naval assets circling the island in the last few days and even in the last month have been dramatically higher than what we've seen in preceding months. They seem to be very, very concerned about the Trump presidency and fearing that that will give Taiwan the boldness to try to declare independence and start trying to seek recognition from other countries. Because if they can get recognition from other countries, then that would allow for security pacts and also massive sanctions against China if China were to invade. Right now, China has the deck kind of stacked against Taiwan. Most countries are affirming that Taiwan is, in fact, part of China, and that Taiwan is not independent in any shape or form. The United States is one of the few countries out there that has representation on the Taiwanese island, and also that we recognize that it belongs to be part of a separate, we don't necessarily see it as independent organization, but the Chinese are there practicing blockades around the island, which is kind of where this may go next. Freddie Mac tracks serious delinquency rates for mortgages, and we've just hit a higher rate than where we were in 2008. During the peak of the financial crisis, they had lower delinquency rates on mortgages than we have right now. What does that mean? Well, it means that the economy, and particularly mortgage rates, mortgage delinquency rates are worse than what we saw even during that. More people are defaulting and delaying their mortgages than we've seen since that economic crisis. We got this major vote happening today in Wisconsin for Supreme Court. Brad Schimmel, which this channel and myself absolutely endorse because he is for not gerrymandering and redistricting all of Wisconsin in order to generate more Democratic seats in Congress. He is defending just the legitimate rule of law and not trying to game the system, whereas his opponent is definitely promising to redistrict and gerrymander Wisconsin. So once again, Brad Schimmel, that is Wisconsin. If you're in Wisconsin, make sure you get out and vote today, please. If all the people that voted for Donald Trump in last November, come out today, then there will be a good result. But that is definitely a concern. Elon Musk has definitely thrown his weight behind Brad Schimmel because he sees the threat in the U.S. Congress from this Supreme Court. This will also shift the balance of power in the Supreme Court away from the liberals, and that's a big deal there too. All right. Speaking of Elon Musk and his Doge program, now we just reported yesterday that they found that 2.1 million people from other places got Social Security numbers last year, people who were not legally allowed to have Social Security numbers. But he also said this at a meeting yesterday. I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow, which is today, because there's someone who actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database and was selling Social Security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. Massive fraud. 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal identifying information was sold on the open market. Interesting. You decide for yourself whether you think there's massive fraud in Social Security that could be cut out in order to make it sustainable. All right. ChatGPT with OpenAI has now started to refuse to make any images of Muhammad, though it used to. One person asked ChatGPT directly, explain to me in a succinct manner why you can't generate an image of Muhammad without caveats, without parallels to other topics, address it head on for the record. ChatGPT responded this way. Because OpenAI prohibits any depiction of Muhammad under any context due to the credible, historically demonstrated risk of violent backlash, including threats, attacks, and death. Let me repeat that again. Due to the credible, historically demonstrated risk. This is a security-driven, non-negotiable policy grounded in risk avoidance, not principle. So OpenAI is principally okay with making images of Muhammad, but they're afraid that the Muslims will kill them. Interesting. Sometimes it takes AI to tell us what we already know. Yeah? Interestingly, I went over to Grok on Twitter, that's their AI, and asked it to make an image of Jesus with the Prophet Muhammad, and it indeed did not disappoint. Apparently not as afraid of death over there. But this is a report from one of our viewers. I removed their name here. Hi, Steve. I have a woman in our church, Northern Michigan, who is an assistant store manager for a large chain of stores. She does all the ordering and the pricing. I asked her how things were going and what she sees happening on things on their end. It's really bad, she said. The warehouses are empty. To try and look stocked, we have items coming in that we've never stocked before. We have no idea what they are, where they've come from, or if they are, or what quality. They are using them to fill empty shelves in the warehouse. The aisles keep getting wider at the stores. But get this, we have to call the other chain stores and ask them for their extra food. The warehouses are empty. Like if we're out of, I don't know why this example, Spartan Cheerios. Is there such a thing, Spartan Cheerios? Or a lesser brand named spaghetti sauce, for examples. If they have an extra half dozen over there, they have to share them with us. The same goes for us. Extra on the shelf has to be sent to the other store. You take what you can get and you don't complain. Call it shuffling food. This is a major store out there with lots of chain stores. All right, that's what's going on. Just want to keep you guys aware of what's going on out there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there at that video, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.